Warzone 2 is coming, and today we had a conversation about it on stream, so I figured out how to make a video about the idea. But let's get into it first. What is something that you want to see in Warzone 2 that isn't currently in Warzone 1 for the way that the game works? The real question, I guess, is what can Warzone 2 just do to take chances and improve gameplay while still keeping its core identity alive? So today we are in some golden plunder. We are running around with the Volkssturmgewehr and the Owen gun, two of the guns that I think are severely underrated right now in Warzone. And we're gonna run around and we're gonna kind of talk about these ideas about how Warzone 2 can innovate on what it's created while still maintaining the feel that Warzone is. So I think the first thing that we really need to establish is what makes Warzone different than other battle royales. So Warzone, to begin with, its original re-innovation on battle royale titles was the idea of loadouts. Being able to take a gun that you have leveled and equipped with all sorts of stuff and bring it into a game mode that is inherently random. Traditional battle royales, much like PUBG, are all based around the idea of fall in, find loot, survive, last man standing. Warzone took that idea and it stretched it a little bit further by allowing you to essentially enough buy loadouts and, you know, have your own weapons to fight. So now how can Warzone innovate on that idea and make itself, I don't know, more streamlined, something more enjoyable? So my first idea is, if you've played Champions of El Caldera, is very similar to that. Allowing you as a player to drop into the Warzone with your loadout already. Now the difference is I would probably limit it to only one weapon and force everybody to be required to purchase a second loadout to get anything else that it wants after that fact. I think coming in with something like your perks and, you know, overkill and all that, I think that might be too strong for an initial drop, especially on the early levels of the game. But I do think that landing with one primary weapon and choosing to fight from there would probably streamline a lot of people's woes in the game. If you did play Champions of Caldera, you saw how nice it was to kind of drop in and already have access to your weapons. Or if you play stuff like Plunder, you also are used to, you know, having weapons at your disposal as soon as you hit the ground, like we're doing right now. And I think a lot of people's woes in Warzone, much like traditional BRs, is the inability to be able to actually have the weapon of your choice early enough and dying to generally what we would consider RNG, or just luck of the draw when it comes to having a weapon that you would like to have. That dude just fried me. And he also has a stopping power. I'd also like to see stopping power no longer ever exist in this game. Oh man. So landing with your initial one primary and a pistol, I think that would encourage people to be more likely to fight, especially off the drop. I do also enjoy the no Gulag section of the Champions of Caldera. Basically, I want Champions of Caldera. No, I did enjoy the no Gulag section of Champions of Caldera as well, because unfortunately enough, after the showers, there's not really been a Gulag that I felt was showing something of skill and value, opposed to a lot of them where they end up just being extremely campy. And so, unfortunately enough, I don't trust there to be a balanced or skill expressive Gulag. Unfortunately enough, the Gulags have just been terrible. So I feel like maybe no Gulag would be the future going forward, and spawning with a weapon of choice, one loadout weapon from the very beginning, would also be an exceptional way of getting people in the game and already ready to go. I think the money system on the game is still definitely needed, as things like being able to buy back teammates, buy ammo crates, and all of those, all that style stuff would be great as well. And I think buying the second loadout would also be very needed.
What? Is there already got him?
Because, you know, how else are you going to get your second weapon unless you just stick to loadout gun or ground loot guns? So from there, we have spawn with one weapon, still forced to buy stuff for perks and such like that. Then from there, you're looking at no Gulag, so you're just allowed to reintroduce yourself back into the fight again. From there, I think one of the next big things that they could do to reinvent their own wheel in Warzone, I think would be purchasing perks and looting perks. No more loadout perks, as a lot of times the perks themselves, just finding them and using them that way, were a little. I mean, the finding them was actually probably one of the better options, and I honestly didn't think that it was going to be a good idea. I'll be completely honest. I believe that the lootable perks was going to be a terrible imbalance in the game, but it hasn't been. It hasn't been at all, really. The lootable perks has probably been a bit of a savior, as it creates a little bit more variety in what perks you can use, because you're no longer required to have to stick to specifically those perks. I just didn't want that plane on the field. I hate those planes, by the way. No more vehicles like that. Honestly, I would like it if they would avoid all vehicles, but I know that's not really how it's going to work. But no more bombers, no more planes. I don't like them. I don't think that they have any true value in the game. Oh my God, it spawns back instantly. So I guess I didn't do anything there. I don't think the planes were a really good choice. They did try, though. They did try to reinvent the way that the game played by that. I think if you're going to keep the air vehicles, I think the air vehicles need to stay in the style of the helicopters without miniguns. I don't think we need weapons on our vehicles to begin with. I think that it's a bit too strong. Generally speaking, just it is a pain. It is a pain. I don't think that they did anything worth the time. Also looking forward to Warzone 2. I think something that they could do to really reinvigorate the way people attempt to play the game is I would love to see the gun balance obviously a little bit better, but this is ways for them to reinvigorate the way that people play the game. So maybe instead of going in with any perks at all, they're all lootable. I don't know. I think that the lootable perk system was actually a really good idea. Warzone 2 also needs to have dedicated either plunder or TDM style at least. There's already been said that the idea of the training, or not training, the firing range. I think the firing range is a beautiful idea. I think it's necessary. I would like to see them do more with that as well, as I do not believe that the entire community wants to drop into just plunder to try to figure out if one gun works or not. It would be cool to see them also with lootable perks. Man, oh, that guy has stopping power, doesn't he? He does not. That dude is just straight up frying. I think the idea of maybe lootable attachments. So maybe you can only take 5 attachments in, but you can still loot attachments for your primaries after the fact. That would be a really interesting way to go about it. Obviously, PUBG is the king of lootable pickups, along with Apex Legends, both of which do an exceptional job of allowing you to edit your gun on the fly. And I don't know if even the game would even be better with that. I don't know. Maybe you can buy weapon upgrades, weapon crafting stations where you can buy and add on parts. I feel like that feels like a good idea. Maybe instead of buying loadouts, you go in with a base level gun and are forced to buy upgrades for your gun. buy certain sites, buy certain suppressors, ammo types, anything like that. Kind of like how that sounds, how that feels. I think that would be a really cool way to adjust the way that the game plays.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
But yeah, I would love to hear what you all have to say. What would be something that you think would be a really cool way to shake up the way that Warzone works? And if you liked any of those ideas, I'd like to hear which ones you liked, which you didn't. What's something that you would hate if they did change on it?
You're a crack.
I will continue to fight.
But yeah, so that is
Enemy dropping into the AR.
kind of where my brain's gone. I honestly like the last idea the best. Go in with a base weapon, maybe one, maybe two attachments, and are forced to purchase upgrades for your gun. I like that one. Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for checking this out. I really appreciate y'all being here. We are now making videos every day here. I know a lot of you may have been familiar with my videos from my previous channel, which was also basically my way of learning of how I was going to do videos here. But if you enjoyed it, drop a like, show some love on the channel, maybe subscribe if you're new. I'd love to have you. We stream 7 days a week at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Play a lot of Warzone. Play a lot of games. We talk a lot. We talk about this kind of stuff a lot, and food. But if you enjoyed it, I would love to have you for one of the streams, as it would be really fun to have you. I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful evening. I will see you soon, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, peace.